odds favor Ali in this fight 6-5, if you can imagine. If ever there was a chance to make a score, you had to run to Las Vegas, which I did with my friend, and every time we could put together and put it all on Larry Holmes. Is that like taking the Saudi blood money, though, Lubie? You had to watch one of your idols all time just take an unbelievably ugly beating, and you're yelling in the corner because you have money on it. Come on, Larry! Knock him out! Money is at the root of all evil.
That's pretty
especially
evil.
when it comes to imagine that. You're rooting for Ali to get, I mean, well, you were just screaming, step in and stop it, ref, it's a killing.
Right, you weren't saying that. You were saying knock his old ass out.
Nah, we didn't need that. That was the biggest gimme I've ever seen in my lifetime, right? And it's always good to be right in those situations.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Still have the image in my head of a washed-up Ali suddenly looking like he was in shape after taking an overdose of thyroid medication and going from kind of a blubbery midsection to looking like he was absolutely ripped and getting ready to step in there in 1964 Miami Beach Convention Center and against the great and invincible Sonny the Bear Liston and pulling off the upset. However, this was some 20 years later. Ali had been through an awful lot. And obviously been through most of the strength of his prime, and was seriously on a decline. They put a picture in a paper of him the day before the fight, Louis, and it was internationally posted. I mean, just about every newspaper carried this thing of Ali all of a sudden looking like, after nobody had seen him train, it was kind of like that Peyton Manning thing. Remember when there was one kid that had a video, a glimpse of Manning, and he was throwing the ball, and you didn't even see where it went. And all of a sudden, the world was going crazy. He's back, man. He's back and better than ever. And sure enough, they pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. The odds all went in Ali's favor. We ran literally to Las Vegas. Wasn't close enough for us to get there. I mean, as quickly as we possibly could. And this was predating, obviously, the time where you could bet from anywhere, right? You're in your hospital bed, on your deathbed. They're reading you your last rites, and you're like, no, I said the Knicks -3.5. You think we'll go out that way, Libby? How are you, Libby? Are you all right? Are you dry? I mean, when will it stop? When will it end?
Well, that's what happened.
It appears, we're getting waved off from the rain right now. I don't know. I saw some clear skies out there.
Yeah, I think it's finally subsiding, which would be in time for the weekend. That's why we were late today. So those who are Defo on 5 fans, sorry, I apologize. It was pouring all day yesterday, so I didn't want to bring the equipment in the house. So I left it in the car. Forgot. Woke up this morning, go, oh shit, I still have to set up. So that took that window right there. So you'll get more of us, and we'll have some other stuff on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I do feel bad for our colleague Mike Mayo.
Yes.
When I grew up, our streets in Sunrise, every time it would rain hard, you would get flooding, and the kids would love it, and you'd ride your bike through it. And it doesn't happen anymore because South Florida, I thought, had gotten much better with drainage. Here in Coral Springs, it deluged all day yesterday, rained the last 4 days straight. And the grass is happy. Like that's all. Yeah. All that looks different here, but out in Mayo's area, oof. Like I feel.
Yeah, he's in the Dania / like Hollywood area, which the airport was closed. You don't usually see an airport closed because of rain, unless it's a hurricane. But nobody could get in or out, and they blocked it off. And the people were going crazy, absolutely nuts, bananas. What do you mean we can't get into the airport? Are you kidding me? I got a 3 o'clock flight. Well, that's not taking off either, lady. But even if you were just coming to pick somebody up, I guess they eventually had to shut it down because of all of the flooding that had taken place. That struck me. I was mentioning to you before we got started here, Lubie. And good morning, everybody. Great to have you for the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, along with one Mike Lubie Lubitz. And we will have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge coming up probably about 25, 30 minutes from now with Dave Gurggles Gergely, the great Dave Gurggles Gergely, going to conduct that. And so we'll have you getting an opportunity to win some fabulous prizes. And more importantly, Lubie, and I think this is true, right? I mean, it's nice to get a $25 gift certificate to Landlubbers. Lenny loves it. Seems like the Chronics have dominated the play here since what we've evolved into this format. And we only play 4 or 5 people. We try to get as many in as we can.
All comers.
Yeah, but we welcome everybody. And do we have any? We did have a female player in the very beginning when we were doing this stuff with Jack Namer.
We did
over there. And what was the name of that company again that he ran? I don't even remember anymore. That's how quickly. That's probably the best skill you could have.
I blacked
People
it
would say it's memory loss, but if you've had an experience that wasn't necessarily the most favorable, I don't look back in anger because my philosophy is, you're here now, and be here now, and then move on, whatever.
Yep.
There's no point dwelling on all the drama of the past. An issue came up between the Mustang and her sister yesterday, which what was really instigated, I guess, by her sisters being upset with something that had happened a long, long time ago, and I just, I actually felt that the Mustang was, absolutely innocent of any of the blame and the negativity and the wrath that was being dealt her way by her sister, and they've had kind of an estranged relationship. Like my brother and I, we don't, we might. I don't know when the last time we actually spoke to each other was.
You just don't talk. I don't know if it's a strange. Like you don't despise each other. You're just not.
No, we have no problem with each other. I mean,
It's not
literally, during the time when my mother was, getting close to her passing, and in the aftermath of that, I fully 100% trusted my brother to do nothing but the right thing, because I don't believe that he would do anything else, to his own brother. I mean, and if you're going to screw your own brother, then what do? I mean, if you're the one, if you're the screwer, I guess you feel like, maybe that's in your nature. If you're the screwy, it's okay, right? Just take the beating and move on. No, I mean, that would be the thing. It's the thing like out of A Bronx Tale, where Chaz Palminteri says, hey, look, if you can get this guy out of your life for $20, then he did you a favor.
Yes.
So it's an easy way to look at things. But anyway, yeah, you can't dwell on the drama of the past. That is a serious mistake. In fact, I'm thinking this: if social media proves anything, Lubie, it's that Thomas Wolfe was right, and that Thomas Wolfe, the author of the book "You Can't Go Home Again," a tremendous concept, right? And if you've learned anything, and I learned this, I guess, and it's kind of funny thinking of my mom, because after my sophomore year in college, I was home for the summer, and I was just goofing around. I was really doing nothing, and I had sort of discovered, that maybe I was, going to have some success, dating women. So I was seeing virtually any woman that I could. I mean, I was meeting women on the beach, Jones Beach, West End too, tremendous pickup place. My friends and I would go out at night, whatever we could do, and I was calling on, girls that I knew from college that I had no shot with whatsoever, just boldly, and aggressively pursuing them, and and finding I was having some success. So I remember one of the young ladies that I was seeing at the time. I was actually, she was an art student, but she was kind of eccentric and existential and all of that. And for the summertime, she was making really good money as a topless dancer at a high-end topless club in New York City, in Manhattan, where she lived. So I started seeing her, and and here I had a nice, I would say, a powerful, like, 5-woman rotation going.
Oh wow, good for you.
And my mother, was meeting them all, and the one that she thought was, the most favorable, and she kept pushing me to go out with this girl, was like, why don't you ask Eve to come over? And I'm like, Eve, do you know what she does, Ma? I mean, not that I disapproved of it, but it's like, of all of the here were the other women were all, just laced with sweetness and innocence. And and this was the wild one, and that was my mother, so conservative, was like, saying, "Hey, why don't you invite her over?" And then, we're there in the basement where I was kind of staying at a split level house there on Long Island. And so I'm downstairs and kind of away from everything. And my mother comes downstairs while I'm in the middle of, an intense session with this woman, the lovely Eve. And she says, she's got a tray of like chocolate chip cookies and lemonade. Like, Ma, you really don't get this, do you, man?
Your mom just didn't care, I think.
But getting back to the story, so years later, here's this, same woman surfaces on Facebook when Facebook first came around. So I want to say, what? I think I might have known you then. Do you remember when I ventured over to Tampa to see some girl?
Yes.
And I came back horrified?
Yes.
Yeah, that was, and it was, as I remember, it was a torrential rain when I was driving over there, and I'm thinking, why am I doing this? I
What
mean,
am I doing? Yes.
yeah, this is like almost 50 years later. I guess it would have been 40 years later. Well, what are the chances that this works out again? Like zero.
It worked for Jersey, but that's because Jersey's fucking weird. Like it
He's
doesn't.
the only guy I know, right? That like 40 years later connected with somebody on Facebook and actually hooked up and thought it was a good thing.
And that was a high school girl too. He didn't go to college. That was like a high school love.
Yeah, that was
It was like 50 years later.
No, I think he might have been older or out of high school by then. I think Jersey Kyle did tinker a little bit with some college courses.
Okay, I'm not judging. I don't remember him talking about college.
No, but he was making so much money doing valet parking that he was like had rock star status. I mean, it was Springsteen, and then Jersey Kyle was the next most desirable bachelor in New Jersey at the time, right? And Springsteen hadn't really made it big by then. I guess he had, but he was still playing like the Stone Pony down there in Asbury Park. It wasn't like he was doing the Garden or anything along those lines. But anyway, so I decided to see this. A woman that says she's coming to Tampa, and she looked fine in the picture, like everybody does, don't they?
Yeah.
Does anybody have like a horrible picture of themselves as their profile picture on Facebook?
No.
Nobody, right?
Or on purpose, ironically. Like some people do it ironically. It's like a weird fucking picture, but it's usually they're like glamour shot.
Yes, yeah, like that, like only if you're in real estate could you have a picture that looked this good.
Yep.
As it was being touched up. I bet you look like Brad Pitt probably.
I have like a picture
in your real estate picture, no?
Yes, like a picture that's like 10 years old.
Isn't that weird? Like when you show up to go see a house, and you see the picture of the realtor on her card, that you picked up, and you decided to make an appointment to go see a house. You're going. You recently went through this, but you're your own realtor, so. And then a woman meets you. She gets out of a Mercedes and meets you at the house there, and you're thinking, well, where's the woman on the car? Which is kind of what happened to me when I went to Tampa. So I go all the way to Tampa to pick this girl up at the airport. And and I drove straight from here to the airport, like 4 hours, like a maniac.
Yeah, that's rough.
And I was planning to spend the night over there, obviously thinking that there was a strong possibility we would be spending it together, and come back the next day. But as she exited the plane, I'm thinking, wow, she must have missed the flight. And everybody else had kind of gone by. She was the last person to come by, and I wouldn't have recognized her. Would not have recognized this person for the life of me. And immediately I thought of Thomas Wolfe, and I thought, you know what, kid? You can't go home again. Now this was true yesterday for Mike Mayo in particular, right? Our good friend Mike Mayo of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox fame, and people know him from his sports writing days, although he really seems to have distanced himself from that.
Man.
Do you think that he could ever get into it again? He doesn't really seem to care about most sports anymore. Like, in fact, his indifference has turned into just flat out sarcasm and cynicism. Yes, I don't even know if it's sarcasm. It's more just complete cynicism. No,
he has a bitterness toward it. Like, I think because of us, he's keeping more of attention to sports again, just so he has a passing idea. But it doesn't seem like he knows what's going on. He doesn't.
No idea, man. I mean, it wasn't like he was probably riveted to the Toronto-Chicago game, which I found myself fascinated by, especially the second half last night, because if you follow the Miami Heat and you follow these storylines, whether you're a fan of the Heat or not, but just if you're just riding along with the storylines that are being written in the NBA this year, the Heat storyline is sort of interesting in that, and I'm trying to think, and maybe you people have suggestions about it, but have you ever seen a team that was great at something one year turn right around the next year, like they're a tremendous offensive team, and then all of a sudden they're nothing but bricklayers?
No.
And in this case, it's down to 3-point shooting, where you have one of the best 3-point shooting team in the league one year, and then you're like 30th the next year.
Yeah,
bringing back the same personnel.
Yes, like the one guy they lost was the guy that wasn't shooting threes well. Like PJ Tucker wasn't hitting like 7 threes a game.
No, he was one of those guys like Bruce Bowen, right? That would stand in a corner and was a real tough defender, but could, for some reason, make the corner three either side.
Yes.
Preferred the left side, it seemed like, but they would find him and nobody guarded him either, right? I mean, they're already playing these vague, like kind of quasi zones in the NBA. And how many times, is the guy wide open in the corner? And you're thinking, that guy can make that shot. Wouldn't you have somebody at least token pressure, Lubie?
Yeah.
But it wasn't that wouldn't be a loss that you would say, my God, well, there goes their 3-point shooting for the season.
I thought toughness
by any means.
No. It made zero sense.
Yeah. So and I'm watching this game with some interest. And what was really kind of interesting about it is how I mean indifferent the local people were here in South Florida. Now we know that of the teams that are in action right now, Marlins, Heat, Panthers, and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins get kind of an automatic free pass. They're going to have interest because it's the NFL. It wouldn't even matter if nobody, had lived in this city for more than a year. You would still have interest in the Dolphins because it's the National Football League. Would you say that's a fair statement?
100%.
Yeah. Whoever was occupying the city of Miami or South Florida, whatever you want to deem this area to be, they were probably going to eventually have some kind of interest, at least in following Dolphin football, if for no other reason than to see them lose to some of their favorite other teams. But that's not necessarily true in these other sports where, the Marlins don't draw flies. They won again yesterday. And I don't know. I want to believe, Lubie, that we made a premature evaluation in already writing off the season and condemning Kim Eng as being a loser as a general manager.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope. Look, Rise has been a good move.
Right.
The thing is settling in. Luzardo's legit. You're not going to get mad about a Contra one bad start. Cabrera finally looked like the guy that they thought was the young phenom.
Yep, he pitched well yesterday.
The bullpen has actually not been bad. Their issue had been.
I think they had 5 scoreless yesterday.
Their hitting had been their issue, and they're still not scoring a lot day in day out. But
no,
they're getting they're pitching enough runs. It's fine with me if they can compete. We've been wanting it. We don't root against the goddamn team. We just
no. I'm a fan. I found myself actually, and this was a test. I went into it with zero bias, not trying to find reasons to make snide remarks about the team or condemn them. Because look, it would be great if there was more interest in what was going on here. Would it not?
Yes, that's
because you just don't see it. I think we're more distanced and indifferent about our teams at this point than we have ever been in South Florida. As not only fans, maybe some of this is stimulated by the lack of media presence that there is here now, with nobody covering the teams on a regular basis in either of the big newspapers, which nobody gets anymore either. Right? Unless, they're reading these condensed articles online. And then do you ever read an article all the way through online, Lubie? No, you read like the first 2 paragraphs and then it sells zipperoni.
Yeah, I usually, if it's a normal article, I'll finish it. But some of these articles are fucking ridiculous. And
yeah,
I only read a couple pages. But yes, that doesn't hurt. The lack of radio/news presence down here.
Nobody's covering the teams.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah. Now that being said, of the teams that compete down here, we know this. And I believe this to be a proven fact that relative to the sport that they play in, seeing as interest in the Dolphins is a gimme because it's the NFL, but then all other sports seem to be secondary to that. Would you agree that that's a fair statement? That the NFL is in a league of its own when it comes to attention. Is that fair? You're a big NBA guy, but you can't really say that the NBA gets the kind of steam that the NFL generates.
No, I don't just watch friggin'
regular season NBA games. Yeah,
regular season NBA. I'm trying to think of two. Before the Kings were good,
you'll watch Seahawks and the Bears play each other.
Exactly. But, the Kings Rockets are playing. I'm on a regular season. I'm not watching that. The Rams this past year and the Lions are playing, I would watch that game and I would watch it intently, 100%.
Yeah, you could take the 2 crummiest teams in the NFL and they're playing a god awful ball game, and you're still watching for a while.
Jets Cardinals, I would watch that game for sure.
Not true of baseball, certainly not here, and not true of the NBA. Certainly not true of the National Hockey League either. We're starting about a lot of things here on this program.
Yes.
This is a very definitive, theory that we're about to put forward here, even though I think there's no way to, say whether it has any merit or not. But and I'm watching the Chicago-Toronto game last night. Now they have a zillion people, like they do in Milwaukee and other cities, are outside the arena going absolutely apeshit.
Oh, the Raptor fans are nuts. Yeah, the Raptor fans are.
Raptor fans, right. Now, here are the Raptors that finished 9th in the East during the regular season. Not a great regular season. There was some speculation, which you put forward here. I don't know if it has any significance, but and it's hard to conceive that the Toronto Raptor fan base might have even the slightest inclination to want to dump Nick Nurse, their coach, who appears to be everything that you would want in a basketball coach. No. Seems to relate very well to people. He's a very likable guy, and yet he's fiery and obviously knows what the hell he's doing because he was able to win a championship there. Imagine. Toronto winning a title. And they did it with Kawhi Leonard, who, ironically, and this was an interesting twist in the game. They dumped DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. They sent him to San Antonio in that deal. And DeRozan prospered in San Antonio. He played very well there. But since he's gone to the Bulls, he is somebody who can't discount with a very similar game to Kawhi Leonard. Do they not seem like somewhat one and the same?
I mean, Kawhi does everything, and he just shoots mid-range jumpers. These are the reports that I saw, and I'm even seeing one as recent as a few hours ago. NBA rumors: Raptors openly evaluating Nick Nurse fit as head coach.
Wow.
They want Ime Udoka. For some reason, they're really after Ime Udoka, and the fact that this team was so underwhelming. And now they lost. And now, literally,
they blew a 15-point lead too.
Well, it was free throws. Like the big joke was, I guess DeMar DeRozan's daughter was in the front row booing.
Yes, she was razzing the opponents on the free throw line.
Who gives a shit?
Who would even hear this if you were an NBA player? I mean, they're used to people going absolutely crazy.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
And I mean, no, but it was funny because the arena does get somewhat quiet. For some reason, it's not like a college, situation where the guy's on the free throw line and they're waving balloons behind a fiberglass backboard and pictures of the coach and all of this stuff. I don't know. The crowds are relatively sedate when NBA players are shooting free throws for some reason.
At home, if you're at home, that's the idea. Like when you're on offense in an NFL stadium, you don't want to incur a false start, so you get quiet. But still, they will win 18 of 36. That's why they lost. And
yes, they left a lot of points at the stripe. That was one of my notes.
There you go.
Lubie. So, very good. We're on the same page.
And look, again, as good as he was a year, it was the year they had Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard was probably, if not the best player in the NBA that year, he was like top 3.
And wasn't Lowry a big factor with those guys? And he played great.
Yes, that team was really good. Siakam was like the 4th guy.
Right. And he emerged as a frontline player. But anyway, they're up 15 on Chicago. And Chicago, obviously, we were talking with Brian Mahoney on the show yesterday. And the first thing he mentioned about Chicago was, hey, look, man, Lonzo Ball, what was really rounding into being a player that could be a tremendous catalyst for a winning team. He had seemed to find a way to manage what his skills are, which tremendous passer. Would you agree? Lonzo Ball throws some great passes when he's out there on the floor and sees the floor very well. And then he had gotten rid of the Joe Morgan thing, I guess, and all of a sudden became a relatively efficient shooter. Not just by his low barometer that he had coming into the league. When everything he shot with the flapping elbow was going to lead to a line drive brick. Have we agreed on that over the years? Even Jim Larinaga, was he telling us that you could get by with that?
He was saying no. He was saying you can't. He and both Rothstein talked about, because you brought, I don't know why you brought a ball to Rothstein. I get it, but you brought it up to Larinaga for some reason, because we were talking about.
We were just talking about technique.
Coaching and can you get better at it? It started with Ben Simmons, and then after Ben Simmons,
we might have been talking about Justice Winslow.
Might have talked about Winslow, and he had said yes, you can get. I don't know if he talked about changing your form, but you can change your form and you can improve at shooting three ball. Like he and Rothstein were very sure you could, and then that year, Ball had become, if not, I think around 40% from there.
He got a lot more reliable. I guess Magic Johnson, the same thing.
He got better as he got older.
Yeah, he
Jordan, LeBron became a much better shooter. We've seen a lot. Kobe, seen a lot of guys get better who really take it seriously.
And Bruce Bowen, we mentioned him before. Was a guy that you didn't think was going to be a shooter. Magic was a bricklayer. He never really had great form on his long-range jump shots, which weren't really jump shots. They were more set shots.
Yeah.
Because nobody went out there to challenge Magic because they were very happy he wasn't driving to the basket. But, Lonzo Ball had corrected what seemed to be just an absolutely tragic flaw in his form, shooting the basketball. And, you're going to have to, if you're playing that position, you're going to have to be able to make a few shots from the outside, no? Whether it's at the expiration of the 24-second clock, whatever, you have to have somebody that you can count on. Look what difference Lowry made in that game. The only reason the Heat were in that game, and he was just hoisting them with no conscience from three, and everything was going in. Perfect. You could not have had a better night. That being said, and the point of all this was, I'm watching the game, and the Toronto people are they're going nuts outside the arena there. We didn't have any of that with this Miami Heat playing game. It was like nobody gave a flying fuck about it.
What do you mean? They didn't get there till like the second quarter, and I don't know if it ever got full. Everyone assumed they'd win. We all assumed they'd win. They'll win easy. Then we'll really be in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, the people didn't help Toronto because they ended up losing the game. And actually, these are all relatively new things to look at because there's a very small sample size. What is it like? There have been 4 games. Or 4 occasions where number 10 teams have gone against number 9 teams, obviously on the road. And that was the first time Chicago was the first team to win a 10 versus 9 matchup. And then in the follow-up game, Oklahoma City goes out and wins their ball game against the New Orleans Pelicans, who are in a real rough spot, are they not, with the Zion Williamson thing?
Have you seen his latest?
You know what? They're just stuck. What did he say now? I mean, I know he said he was ready to play, and they kept him out. Which probably didn't help him any last night.
That's not what he said. He
Oh,
said, I'm not going to come back till I feel like Zion. And then the reports were he's actually 100% healthy.
Oh, yeah?
But he doesn't feel right. And until he feels right, he's not going to come back. He says to come back right now, he knows it would be weird in the locker room. So until he feels like Zion,
oh wow,
he's not coming back.
What's up with these NBA guys? I mean, and money has it gone in their head to the point where
I don't fucking know. That was one of the craziest shit I've ever heard.
They just signed him to like a 5-year max extension too.
He's a young fucking dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
basketball, you dumbass. Like, I'm sorry, and I'm not belittling mental illness. Believe me, I've gone to therapy. I understand, but you're playing a game. Go play the game, and then go to your therapist.
Anyway, what kind of hamstring takes 6 months to heal up?
No, he's physically healthy. He said it. I'm healthy. I just don't feel like me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a good one.
I don't know what that means. I don't even know.
I thought that was what you were pulling when we didn't make it to the Defo on 5 today. That you just didn't feel like Lubie today.
I don't even know what.
Unbelievable. All right, so just to wrap this up, because we have the trivia challenge we have to get to, but I did not feel any of this sense of franchise pride with the Miami Heat in this playing game. It's almost like people were resigned to the idea that people here just don't rally really around their team, even if they're the most rabid of fans and what has been of late the most appreciated of franchises in South Florida. You saw no concern whatsoever and virtually no passion for that game, including from the Heat players themselves.
I was going to say, are you talking about the players or the fans?
Yeah. I mean, it was listless all the way around. And now they have to face the Chicago team. Zach LaVine was great in the late going to the third and the whole fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. He was great. DeMar DeRozan, did his thing. And Chicago really rallied from the grave in that game to beat Toronto, who, as you said, can just look at the charity striped statistics and, see they did lead a lot of points out there. That's for sure. But I don't know. So what do you think? Chicago versus Miami, Friday night. Is there going to be a difference if the Heat lose that ball game? And do you anticipate that Mike Lubitz being Chicago, I think, was 2-0 against the Heat this year?
That's good. I thought the Heat were better against the Bulls than the Raptors. That's wonderful. I think they're going to lose. I mean, I just think they've given up on the season. I think we knew they were bad against both these teams going in. We knew they played the Hawks well. If that's how they showed up against the Hawks, like, what are they going to do against the Bulls, who actually have another tier of talent? Like, the Hawks had a lot of guys, but LaVine and Rosen are actually all-stars. And the Hawks don't really have 2 legit all-stars. I think, and then you add with the big man that was always with Vucevic.
Alan Kunis? Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, not Alan Kunis.
No. Yeah, it was
Vucevic,
yeah.
And that was with the Magic that no matter what he did, he would get 20 and 20 versus the fucking Heat.
Right.
Those 3 guys kill the Heat. Like, I don't see how. I don't even think I'm gonna be within single digit. I think they're just gonna get throttled in that game. Like,
You think they lose on Friday night at home to the Chicago Bulls, who just had a road victory? But if they played like they did in the fourth quarter against Toronto last night, they would absolutely roll over the Heat based on comparative performances in their last game. But we'll see. Anyway, that's coming up on Friday night. But interesting to me that there was so much interest in this in Toronto. And, it's not like they don't have, something else to pay attention to because, as you said, the Maple Leafs, they don't talk like that in Toronto, do they? It's more of an English
Montreal
type of thing. Is Montreal really just a French ghetto compared to Toronto? Would anybody be able to verify that for us here on the show?
I don't know.
No?
I wouldn't touch that.
It was Canadian Tommy. We were at the handicapping contest at Keeneland a few years ago, and I was talking about Toronto versus Montreal for some reason, and he's from Toronto, obviously, and he said, "To us, Montreal is nothing but a French ghetto." And I thought, yeah, all right. I didn't see it that way, right? I thought, didn't you think Montreal had an element of glamour to it? I mean, I know it's not Monte Carlo, which is the reason that you see the reflection of the TV in the background is I can't turn this Monte Carlo tennis tournament off. It's on Tennis Channel, and they have live action going right now. And has anybody been to Monte Carlo? Or if you've attended this event, I have a new sports bucket list thing. I want to go to this tournament. It's right on the water. It's everything that you would have wanted at a Key Biscayne, except you can actually see like this beautiful, wide open body of water from the stadium as you're watching. It's a Masters 1000 event, so you have all of the top guys are in there, and they're pulling off upsets right and left, like Lubie Libets, on the red clay. First time the men on the red clay. You're talking 50-shot rallies. I mean, incredible stuff going on there. It's absolutely amazing. The only guy who isn't in the thing of any merit on the tour right now is Alcaraz. Is not playing in this tournament. Otherwise, an incredible field. All right, we're going to get into the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We'll give you guys a chance to win a great prize and have the distinction, as we said, of becoming a champion here on the show. And there he is, the handsome one himself, is one Dave Gurggles Gergely. Is that like some kind of a name thing that you have there on the shirt?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Does it have Gurggles on it, in quotes? Gurggles?
No. It says Dr. Dave and then Allentown underneath. It's so when people come to play golf here, they'll say, "Hey, you're from Allentown," and then we have something in common right away. But no one's played golf here in a couple of days. The last foursome out yesterday was 2 giraffes and 2 bears from Noah's boat. We are underwater out here. It's very sad, but.
No, that's one of those areas with like no drainage. Also, we were saying at our compadre there on South Florida Live with the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show, the great Mike Mayo, who you know, his house is flooded. He's in the like Dania area, Hollywood area, and isn't that true of Miami Lakes and like the Hialeah area that tremendous flooding?
Oh, hence the name Miami Lakes, obviously. Yeah. But the golf course itself, the back 9. In the future will be a project to raise that level where all the lakes flow onto the course, and that's probably about a $6 million price tag to do something like that. So there's big doings out in Miami Lakes. We have the rendering of the new clubhouse and driving range, first tees here. The folks from Mel Reese have come up here as a part of a management team, so it's an exciting time. I've got a tournament tomorrow. I hope we can get in with the City of Hialeah Education Academy. Nice group of people. Monday, I've got Somerset Academy, so hopefully it'll drain today. Today, we were scheduled for a French, speaking of Monte Carlo, a French team, Dassault Falcon Jet, a corporate meeting in Blue Lagoon, all over the country, 27 rental sets. Well, yesterday afternoon, I had to call them and say, guys, I'm sorry, we got to cancel. And I work commission, so it hit me a little bit. And I saw something on Monte Carlo, by the way, just the other night. Don't forget they got a casino there too. That might come in handy.
Well, and it was like a tax haven for a lot of tennis players took up residence there. I guess I don't know that golfers did, but many wealthy people decided that all of a sudden that would be a good place to live, and it looks spectacular, Gurggles. I don't know. I mean, it really. I mean, it looks absolutely sensational. You've seen it in like Bond movies, also, I guess.
And Princess Grace obviously fell in love with Prince Rainier there while she was filming what movie?
Some Like It Hot. No.
No, that's Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis. It was actually with Cary Grant in To Catch a Thief.
Oh, yeah.
So
nice
they
title.
were filming that. But yeah. Great movie if you ever catch that.
Nice title.
And the other one I saw the other day that you'd appreciate, if you ever get a chance, or you or Lubie, A Big Hand for a Little Lady with Joanne Woodward and Henry Fonda as 2 farmers going through town, and they discover this poker game. and he goes in there to spend all the money they saved for the farm, fakes a heart attack, and the lady has to take over the pot, and they let her. They're all in for $5,000 a piece, and the lady is out of money. She convinces the banker to look at her hand, and the town banker says, "I'll back her for up to $50,000." Everybody drops, and at the end, the banker, her, the doctor, and her husband split the dough. It's a great con. Really, really great show.
Nothing like a good con, Dave Gurggles Gergely, to get your imagination working. Now we should pay tribute to the Polyman, who when we do get these degenerate podcasts going with Greenlight Ventures, and we've temporarily lost when Dave Gurggles Gergely.
I lost Gergs,
but he is the Polyman is the absolute king of the slop. If the track condition is listed as sloppy, Polyman is the man to go to. So this would be the day if they're actually going to be. I would imagine they do have the all-weather surface out at Gulfstream Park. So I would imagine that they will be racing there today. I'm thinking that it's going to clear up a little bit. Although you may not be able to get there, right? Because the streets could be. I mean, based on what Mike Mayo sent us in terms of pictorials on his situation, did you see that? He had like boxes on the floor.
Well, he has like a. I don't know if
they were half like emerged in water, submerged in water.
It's like a Florida room. Like, look, my parents had a Florida room, but it's
a true Florida room, yeah.
Now theirs converted into like a family room. Like there's a wall, there's windows, it's indoors, there's AC. Mayo's looks like they're indoors, quote unquote, but it has the outside feel. Like it's an old school Florida room. It's lower and there's not really good protection, and it was flooded. It was flooded. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, it looked bad. He said he couldn't even get to his house, so we're hoping he's okay. All right, we're going to take a short break here, try and reconnect with Dave Gurggles Gergely. We'll get the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge underway. Let me tell you about Hialeah Park, though, and no time is a slow time at Hialeah Park. It's always great. They open up at 9 a.m., so that's right around the corner. And they're open on the weekdays until 3 a.m. in the morning the following day, and 5 a.m. on the weekends. And the weekends are a full-blown party. And, weeknights are beautiful there, too. I mean, it's just absolutely always a good time to get to Hialeah Park. You have the perfect fusion of the old and the new. The spectacular grounds are still very much impeccable and, just absolutely radiant. When you walk in there, you feel like you should take a deep breath when you walk in there. Just go and breathe in Hialeah Park, right? I mean, and you're thinking, wow, this is absolutely beautiful. And then you see the casino, and it's like you're in Monte Carlo, all right? Would you care to double, Mr. Bond? Yeah, well, go ahead. I'll double down on that. And you're going to love it. All your favorite Vegas-style games. I mean, just a great presentation of everything in the casino. Great dining opportunities also, as you have Junior's Bistro, which is tremendous with a lot of variety. And then, if you like that kind of Latin thing, best Cuban sandwich anywhere in South Florida, right there, Hialeah Park. And it's so reasonable, too. I mean, they want you to have a good time there. That's what it's all about. And you will. I think you're going to love it. Check it out for yourself, Hialeah Park. HialeahPark.com gives you a full calendar of all the events going on there. Get a player's card, a tremendous rewards program at Hialeah Park. It is just a dynamite entertainment opportunity and place to go. And even if you don't gamble and you're out there just hoisting a few and dancing to the Latin rhythms on the Friday and Saturday night with the live DJs on the outside patio bar, and then you might have an inclination to say, hey, you know what? Let me check out those Royal Reels everybody's screaming about, because I hear people winning jackpots all the time. Tremendous place. They do a great job. Really good people, too. Check it out for yourself, as we said, and make a plan to visit beautiful Hialeah Park. All right, we're going to come back with the trivia challenge. We'll relocate Gurggles. I'm confident about that. Are you, Lubie? What do you think? What are the odds?
I'm not confident at all.
Over-under is low?
He's having internet issues. And I guess it happened to you yesterday.
Yes.
Southeast, the rains.
I had a couple of short, very brief power, hits where, everything went out for a split second, and you're hoping that it just comes right back on. And that's what happened, but it knocked me off the internet. So I got knocked out there late in the Mike Mayo Lunchbox show. So hopefully we'll have Dave Gurggles Gergely. If not, we'll continue. And I don't want to dig up that same set of questions. I've been using it for 4 years as a substitute guy here.
Yeah, no. We have someone on the line, and we have others trying to get in, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do our best, but no, we're not doing that. I love you. I don't
see what happens. Yeah.
do that again.
I mean, could we could do it by telephone, I guess, if we had to. Which is that favorable? No, we couldn't do it because
I can get the
we
people
need to be on
on,
the phone.
but it would be awkward as hell.
Yeah, no, it would be awful. You're right.
It would just be awkward. Like
technology will not allow us to do that.
The delay is weird. We're trying to get him on. I'm having him restart his computer. That seems to work a lot.
Okay, see what happens.
We're going to cross our fingers.
All right, we'll come back in a moment here on the Defo Show, hopefully to conduct a Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. If not, we'll have some fun. And we'll be back in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 7:41. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubber's Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante. The Belmont's now 1 mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
All right, there he is. Wow. Okay, we recovered Dave Gurggles Gergely here. I'm going to have to conduct a nasty piece of business during this portion of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge as we get it started here, as I have to call and report the lack of delivery of my New York Post. Now, should I give the guy a free pass today? Who knows? You know, right? The guy's motor could have fried in some big puddle somewhere.
The streets might be a disaster. I don't know. I haven't tried to drive since yesterday afternoon, so I don't know what it's like.
I still didn't get it, right? So,
yes, you complain about it. I just don't know how.
All right.
Angry.
Well, oh, no, I'm not angry. I mean, you know, what are you going to do? If that's the worst thing that happens to me, it's not the end of the world. But we do have Dave Gurggles Gergely with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, and you got back with us. And you say things are going well, except a bit soggy there in Miami Lakes and at the golf club. And hopefully they'll be able to clean up the track, you know, dry that thing up so guys will be able to get out there tomorrow. Do you play winter rules when it's that wet?
Yeah, it's lift, clean, in place is the actual rule.
I like that.
So
I always play
your
by
ball
those
goes, lift it up.
Yeah,
but not with your foot. You're supposed to pick it up. That's it.
Winter rules were always. I mean, those were the first rules. It's like the no 3 knockdown rule. I mean, those were the first rules that we, you know, said, hey, okay, we're going to subscribe to these, and then you know, very generous allotments of lie improvement. I think lie improvement should be factored into the game of golf. They let the pros do it sometimes, don't they? Right, where the guy deliberately drops the ball so it rolls into the creek, drops it again, it rolls into the creek. Now he gets to put it on a tee. And you're like, wow, that's great, man. No wonder these guys are shooting under par. All right, we're playing for a Landlubber's gift certificate. You can dial us up, 954-417-0070. Dave's going to ask a series of questions, and, you know, just dial us up, and we use a random phone scrambler, and hopefully you'll be able to get in on the game. We're always searching for new blood, Gurggles, here on the program.
Yeah.
Always searching for new blood. So, in honor of the Polyman, who is the king of the slop, by the way, if they're running at Gulfstream today, you would want the Polyman. It would be worth paying the Polyman a couple of dimes to come out there and just consult with you on every race, would it not? Could that be a business? I mean, could he be
Yes.
like a modern day Peaches, and just say, everything you got on the floor? No? And the guy pays him.
He's a little better than that.
Hopefully he wins. No, he is the king, undisputed king of the slop. Right? He's going to be called King Slop when we have our degenerate show on our new podcast platform. So in honor of the Polyman, here's Dave Gurggles Gergely to start us out. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge with some
easy baseball. This player, during a night game, disputing a call with the home plate umpire, said, "Ump, let me ask you a question. How can you sleep with the lights on?" Was it Amos Otis, Amos and Andy Griffith, or Otis Campbell from the Andy Griffith Show?
All right, here's a round of phone scrambler. And it lands on Mike. Mike, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I want to say A for that.
Good morning.
A is correct. You have 1 point.
Okay, Mike. Half point if you know who Otis Campbell was on the Andy Griffith Show and what his famous line was.
You said the jailbird?
He was the drunk that always went to sleeping off in the cell, and they would give him a book one time, and he said, "No, I only read labels." So that's what his famous line was. All right, here we go. 1 point going for two. Baseball. Believe it or not, Sal Durante, the lucky fan who caught Roger Maris's 61st home run, actually offered, unlike today, the ball to Maris for free. True or false?
True.
That is true, yeah.
True. And Maris, what great guy that he was, even though he was quiet, said, "Hang on to it. You might be able to make some money." He already knew there was a restaurateur in California that was giving him $5,000 for the ball. So Sal got $5,000 thanks to the generosity of Roger Maris.
What's that ball worth today, you think?
Oh, God, no, who knows? Yeah.
That's a classic. That's a classic. All right, 2 for 2, going for 5 here, Mike.
All right, NBA, Mike. 3 players have made 24 field goals in the NBA postseason. Which of the following did not? John Havlicek, Will Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, or Elgin Baylor?
Let's go Jordan.
Oh, Jordan did it. Wilt did it. Havlicek did it. Elgin Baylor did not make 24 field goals.
Often referenced as we talk about the NBA draft lottery show. You remember? I mean, that's how people remember Elgin Baylor, just looking absolutely stunned. Like he just found out that his Madoff account was worthless. He looked like those. Remember when we used to uncover those bodies up there by Broken Sound, and every now and then, some old Jewish man, not even old Jewish man, like a deceased Jewish man would be floating in the canal there, and they would say it's a shame he had all his money with Bernie, right? I mean, and that's how Elgin Baylor would look every time when the Clippers got screwed out of the #1 pick, even though they were by far the worst team in basketball that year. All right, here's your 5-point question, Mike, going for 7 points.
Baseball, Mike. On this date in 1984, Pete Rose, then of the Montreal Expos, got his 4,000th hit, and it came off of who? Jerry Koosman, Gary Anderson, Phil Niekro, or Bert Blyleven?
Wow.
Niekro.
No, believe it or not, it was Jerry Koosman, but Jerry Koosman of the then Philadelphia Phillies at that time.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. Good job, Mike. You never know. You might be back in the game there by random draw at the end if nobody gets a total or not enough people get a total worthy of being in the finals. You can dial us up if you'd like to play it, 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Gurggles, we're going to go ahead and throw it into a little break mode here in a second because I have to make this nasty call. But Perdomo cigars, that's never nasty. And if I do get my paper today, I will be lighting up a Perdomo cigar, even though I don't smoke cigars, just in celebration.
There you go. Yeah, Perdomo cigar is a good time to celebrate. We're only, a month and a half or 2 months from Father's Day. Even Mother's Day, if they're a cigar smoker, they'll love it. Anybody would love a Perdomo cigar. 305-627-6700 is the number to call. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, the place to go to get your Perdomo cigars. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on the weekends, of course, you got to go online, www.perdomocigars.com, to find a retailer near you that sells these great cigars. So this weekend, you want to celebrate with a great cigar, the place to go, Perdomo Cigars. Call them 305-627-6700. Tell them Gurggles sent you, and put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
All right, we're going to come back and play some more people here. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge is underway. We have Mike having played and unfortunately ran into a brick wall after the true-false question. You can dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070. And we'll be back with more on the Defo Show here with Dave Gurggles Gergely, Mike Lubie Lubitz. I'm Jeff DeForest. In a moment, now that, a moment of rage about to occur. The time is 7:51, my friends.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
All right, I tell you what, I give them a piece of my mind there at the New York Post Delivery Center. They're not going to stiff me, even after intense flooding. Has made this place look like a tsunami blew through here. I want my paper, man. Bring it and bring it now.
Damn it.
You know how long I've been subscribing to this paper? Right? I mean, can they afford to blow off subscribers to a newspaper? Gurggles? It seems to me that's a diminishing breed, no?
Well, you should be able to get the sports section online if you have a little window and window.
Can, but I don't like to read it. It's just not the same.
Gotcha.
I mean, to sit there punching up articles online while on the throne, as opposed to having this thing just in your lap and realizing, geez, I've been sitting here for 40 minutes. I've handicapped the entire card at Aqueduct while sitting on the throne. The only other publication that you would spend more time with in that situation in the morning would be the Racing Form, would it not? I don't mean to get grotesque here, but would you be a good, favorable toilet bowl handicapper? Have you found that you had success while handicapping on the toilet, as opposed to maybe
no
kitchen table or whatever? No.
That's
not your game. I think that's where I've come up with my best horses, honestly. I don't know what it is about that particular experience. All right, to take it out of the gutter here and bring it back to our usually lofty position, in terms of bringing you the highest class of entertainment, and that is a Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We do have Mike as a player, and he did not tally a total worthy of being in the finals. So it's still wide open to get there. 954-417-0070 on the phone lines. And Gurggles, I believe we're ready for our next set of questions.
Okay, boxing. This fighter, facing a particularly hard-hitting opponent, said, Ernie Shavers could punch you in the neck and break your ankle. What's that? Randall Tex Cobb, Randall Cunningham, Tony Randall, or Randall P. McMurphy?
All right, here's the random phone scrambler to determine our next player. And it lands on Pat. Pat, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning.
Good morning, gents. Hey.
Good morning, Mr.
Hey, is correct. Way to go. Nice job.
Well done, Pat. All right, hoops, Pat. The late Fred Gwynn, he of the Munsters,
Oh, you
Car
love that guy.
54,
Yeah.
and the judge and My Cousin Vinny. He was born in New York, and during his senior year was offered a basketball scholarship to CCNY. True or false?
I'll go with true.
I'll go false.
Was he a Southern guy? I think it was Southern.
He didn't look like he had a lot of athletic ability. I mean, he might have been a bigger stiff than the Chief in Cuckoo's Nest under the basket.
He was a big dude.
He was tall. All right. They just put him in there with other short actors and actresses. Was he actually like only about 6 feet? All right. You have 1 point going for 4 here, Pat.
All right, sports, Pat. Let's stick with Hollywood. Actor James Dean was a star athlete growing up at Fairmont High School in which of the following sports?
All right.
Baseball, basketball, wrestling, or track and field?
Jimmy Dean.
James Dean. Well, let's go with basketball.
I'm going to go baseball. Oh, basketball.
Oh, basketball.
Wow.
Well done, Pat.
Very nice.
Wow.
All right, excellent. Pat would know his actors, right? I mean, being one himself.
Yes.
So I'm surprised he missed that second question about Fred Gwynn. Now with 4 points, Pat, you're in the lead and going for 9. Really put the pressure.
Let's go to baseball, Pat. Who has the most walk-off home runs among second basemen in the expansion era since 1961?
Oh, easy one. What are you
Second
talking
baseman,
about?
walk-off. Joe Morgan, Tom Tresh, Jose Altuve, or Lou Whitaker?
Wow. Who the hell would know that?
Joe Morgan.
Morgan. You would think.
No, you would think too, but believe it or
Or
not,
you would
Lou
think
Whitaker
Altuve,
of the
maybe.
Tigers.
Wow.
Lou Whitaker of the Tigers, 7 walk-off home runs.
Well, you're setting the pace there, Pat. So hang around. You may be in the final.
Pat, you're on top, baby. You are setting a very, I mean, we're talking 51 and change here, are we not, Gurggles?
It's okay.
Right? Where you turn to your friends and go, they're crawling out there. They're crawling. Even the announcer references, well, it's a rather tepid pace here. And you're thinking, my God, what is that? 51 and 3? Could that be correct? Maybe this, Clocker's watch has been damaged. Dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play. Pat is setting the pace there with 4 points. And it's the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Yes.
By the way, people should be lighting up a Perdomo cigar if they bet.
Oh, John Rahm. You gave him out. Yeah.
5-1. Even though one of the probably favorites, still 5-1 is a pretty square price.
You know what's funny about that, Gurggles? I saw 5-1 as a price also on John Rahm. But there are people, and I saw a social media post, and Mike Mayo says his
Mayo's buddy
had Rahm at 10-1. Which,
wow.
I mean, that seemed, very generous, almost Segreno-esque in terms of, what bookmaker can you find that would give you double the price? What was odd about the tournament, though, Gurggles, is I actually, it crossed my mind. Now this counts for nothing, in terms of gambling, but it did cross my mind to take a shot with Koepka because Jim Sarney was pushing us about the idea that Koepka with the Live Tour and he's back on his game and he just won some Mickey Mouse tournament in Orlando, a pun absolutely intended. And, and he was 30-1. And I thought, you know what? If this guy's on his game, he's in there with a shot. Is he not?
You and I have a mutual friend that I bumped into Saturday at a pari-mutuel plant that had 100 on Koepka at 38-1.
Wow.
And that was Saturday.
Nando?
And, unfortunately, yeah.
Is Nando betting golf now?
No, we won't. He will remain nameless. But you and I know this gentleman.
Well, and you're in
38-1, he had 100 on him.
You're in complete command. Now, the good thing about golf is, I don't know if people realize this. I mean, this was, very much designed for Jewish degenerates that like to hedge. Okay, and I'm not trying to put any kind of stereotype on Jewish gamblers, but we do like to hedge. I would say, Lubie, you would be inclined to hedge, whereas some swashbuckling type like a Jersey Kyle, and maybe even you, Gurggles, I don't know, are more inclined to say, you know what, fuck them, let it ride. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're all in. You have a chance to pick up 5 dimes maybe if you back the other team because you're going to cash a big ticket if your original proposition comes through. And instead of going ahead and maybe diminishing your winnings by 5,000 and ensuring a victory, you go ahead and just let the dice roll.
Right. I think Lubie is a perfect example. Betting David at 30-1 against Goliath, and then before they fight, he bets Goliath on a money line. Come on,
there you go.
Come on, Lubie.
Takes a shot with Goliath. Why not? Yeah. But you can hedge off on almost anything when betting golf. It really is. It's a mind-boggling, degenerate puzzle that leads to some nice scores. If you're right, I mean, you're cashing a big ticket there. That would have been something, huh? $100 at 38-1 on a guy, and he's in total command, going to the 4th round and looking like there's no way that he can lose this thing. And then of all people, do you think that the turn back in distance hurt him at all from 72 to 54 hole tournaments?
No, I just don't think he was used to being in that position in a long time. And Rahm has ice water in his veins. That kid. I mean, geez,
he's good. Yeah, he's excellent.
Yeah,
right now. I mean, obviously the hottest guy on the tour with 4 wins. And what are we? We're just in April. The guy's already won 4 tournaments this year. All right, ready for our next set of questions. We have Pat in the lead here with 4 points. And here's Dave Gurggles Gergely. And once again, if you want to play, you can dial us up at 954-417-0070. Here's Dave.
Football. This late night host on another tough season for the New York Jets team said, this just in from the NFL. Just 3 weeks left in the regular season, and 8 teams have been given permission to sell Super Bowl tickets, and the New York Jets have been given permission to sell Girl Scout cookies. What's that? David Letterman, David Niven, Larry David, or Yale Larry?
Could have been any of those guys. So let's go ahead and roll the scrambler there, Libby. Looks like Ron has flashed up there in the neon. Ron, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Good morning.
A is correct, man. You're going to be out there tonight. Are you doing it, Lubie? Is this postponed rain, the trivia contest tonight at Landlubbers?
I mean, actually, right now it's the first beautiful day we've had since Saturday, and I think it's going to be great all day today. And hopefully,
all right, very good.
We'll get some golf out there at Miami Lakes Country Club or Golf Club.
We'll see.
We'll have trivia tonight. That will definitely happen.
Yeah. Cart path only today, I would imagine, Gurggles. Cart path only.
Oh, yeah. Sure. We haven't even opened the course yet. We'll deal with that in a little bit.
There's always some asshole that you see rolling across the fairway, though, isn't there?
Well, we can set our carts right now on their GPS, where as soon as they move out there, it stops automatically.
Oh, get out of here! Really?
To get back. Then put it in reverse to get back to the cart path.
Wow.
Yep. There's a governor, as they say.
How many people have gotten whiplash over that? I mean, that could lead to a lot of.
Well, they call in and then they say, "Hey, my cart stopped." Well, look up at the screen, moron. All right.
So it's like a shopping cart when you're trying to schlep it all the way to your car.
Or your house. Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Scream, moron.
Hockey, true or false, Ron? Believe it or not, Steve Carell, he of Office fame and the 40-year-old virgin, was a goalie on his high school hockey team. True or false?
A veritable Gulf Worsley.
Let's go true.
True. I'm going to say true also.
It is true.
Yeah. Yes, he had some goaltender instincts that he displayed while acting. 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, let's. People always accuse me of going back too far in history. Let's make something a little more current for you, Ron. NBA. Which 21st century player scored the most points in a postseason game in the NBA?
All right.
Russell Westbrook, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, or Damian Lillard?
Let's go Damian Lillard.
That's what I would have said. No?
Donovan Mitchell had 57 for Utah.
All right. Good try there, Ron. Going for 7 points in the lead. This would put you right on top and possibly, I would imagine, almost guaranteeing you a spot in the playoffs.
Baseball, Ron. Who's the only player to win a National League batting title for the Dodgers since they moved to Los Angeles?
Oh, good question, man.
Is that Steve Garvey, Dusty Baker, Bill Buckner, or Tommy Davis?
I know that one.
Let's go, Tommy Davis.
That's it. Yes.
That is it.
Very
62
good.
and 63. Well done.
Very good. Who better player, Tommy Davis or Willie Davis with the Dodgers? Tommy Davis or Willie Davis?
Tommy. Yeah, he played a long career, ended with the Red Sox. Willie Davis had, 3 errors in 1 inning in a game in a World Series, I think. Wow. Or 2 errors on 1 play.
He was fast, though. I mean, the top of that lineup there with Warner Mills and Willie Davis, unbelievable. Yeah. Tommy Davis was a real good hitter. Solid. I mean, solid as a rock. You know, that kind of old school hitter that you got, where he had enough power but was going to hit, what did he hit that year that he won the title? Was it?
Boy, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he did it like with a low average. I think I want to say it was
it was respectable, 320s or something. I'm thinking, but I'm
something
not sure.
Good, yeah. All right, we'll squeeze in another player before we go to the finals. If you'd like to join us at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Lubie's going to be live tonight at Landlubbers in Plantation, I guess it's called, right? Or is it Sunrise? Plantation?
Yeah.
It's in the Sunrise Plantation border, but it is Plantation.
It's right on the border there, man. There's no wall to navigate.
Road in Sunrise. Yeah. Can't beat it. Yep.
Yeah.
Great place to go. Terrific food. Probably Thursday night, their cheeseburger specials out of this world. I'm a peel and eat shrimp guy.
And really this was after Mayo got clobbered. I mean, they paid $33 to have a hamburger delivered to his house. Can you imagine? Right. Wow. A burger that would have cost him about $13. And, they're even cheaper tonight at Landlubbers. They got the special going.
Oh, yeah. It's like
dynamite food,
$9.95 or something.
Great food.
Really good food.
$8.99.
Yeah, $8.99 on a burger.
Half-ounce burger, and they give you a crap load of fries or whatever side dish.
And the service is unbelievable, pleasant, and they're right on top of things all the time. You don't wait to be waited on there. They're just really, really good.
And a great eye. I mean, Soufrine has tremendous instincts for making sure every sporting event. Sarni would love this place because even the most obscure of sporting events, Soufrine has action on. So, it's going to be up on one of the screens, right? I mean, if you're looking for that JV women's field hockey game, with Quinnipiac involved, you're going to find – there it is right there. What are you talking about? No, we're not running CNN tonight. Is that you were great at this, Gurggles, over there when that was one of your things that you were managing was the TV screen?
Yeah, Miami Lakes, yeah. At Shula State, too, we put on every game. NFL, we put on every game, and at one time, we put the volume on each individual TV until we discovered that app, Tunity, where you can put it on your phone, hold it up to the computer, and you get the volume on your phone. But I put them on every TV, put a little helmet up on the screen so they knew what was playing. Yeah, we had a blast over there. Absolutely.
You had that well organized. You would have thought there would have been some of that, back in the day type of spirit for this Miami Heat playoff game. Well, we were talking about it earlier before you came on, how flat this town is in certain aspects compared to other areas where, I mean, is there nothing to do in Toronto except stand outside the arena there in a jam-packed crowd? It looked like, what is that crazy music that you like, Lubie? Where they have that concert down here?
EDM.
Ultra or whatever? Yep. It looked like the Ultra concert. Yeah.
Oh, not Zydeco?
No, not Zydeco. Yeah, I mean that's enjoyable too. I could see you being one of those washboard guys.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You would be very good at that,
like that,
no doubt. And you have certain percussion instincts, man. Like you were John Good Vibes Bonham.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's play one more before we go to the finals here. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Sure.
Once again, Hialeah Park, great. I mean, what a vibe they have there. It's just fantastic, and you can appreciate this. You don't want to go to a place that's dead, right? Like, did you say that you had been to Keeneland? I think you said you had been. No,
I have not.
He hasn't.
Nope.
I mean, they had a day yesterday that was one of those spectacular Keeneland days where, the meet just started. Beautiful, crystal clear blue skies, and I would imagine, temperatures somewhere in, 60s or whatever. And just a perfect day to be outside in the sunshine, that kind of springtime sunshine, watching the horses. And the vibe in there just makes it so much more spectacular. You can almost live without simulcasting. That's how good the vibe is there. Can you imagine me screen to screen, Jeff DeForest?
I don't know.
Screen to screen,
I don't know if I
Defo?
can do that.
It's tough, it is. I have to slide into the green room there and go, "Hey, wait, can you get me Turfway Park?" And no, they're going off right now. But the vibe in a casino, it does make a difference, right? You walk into a place, it's dead.
No doubt about it.
You're tempted to walk right out. You're going to Hialeah Park. It's always absolutely fantastic. So you're going to love it. Check it out for yourself. Beautiful Hialeah Park. And the Players Rewards Program is spectacular there. You would think that there was some big corporate organization where they could afford to give away these kind of amenities to their guests and their loyal patrons that have a player's card. And instead, you're thinking, man, they're doing this. They're on their own, man. These guys are individually operated. And just a great, great job by the people at Hialeah Park, making you happy there and providing the ultimate casino environment. All right, here we go. One more player to go here, and then we'll go to the finals. So we'll see if we can get a higher score than either 7 or 4. And here's Dave with our next set of questions.
Hockey. This legendary Canadian NHL broadcaster on his playing career said, "When I was young, I used to pray to the Lord every night to make me a hockey player. Of course, I forgot to mention the NHL, so I spent 16 years in the minors." Was that Don Cherry, Danny Ferry, Walter Berry, or Jim Carrey?
Very Euchre-esque, that particular quote, is it not? Very, very much like Bob Euchre there. All right, here's a scrambler. It lands on Lenny the Chronic. Lenny, how are you? How are you, Chronic?
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
We're great. Thanks for coming in and playing the game. All right, you have 1 point, Lenny. You're in the game.
Oh, wait.
Golf, Lenny. The highest score ever shot in a single round was at the Masters was 106 by Billy Casper in 2005. Though it never went down in the official ledger because Casper, who teed it up that day just to give his family members one last chance to see him play at Augusta, he withdrew without turning in his card. True or false?
I'll say false.
I'll say true.
No, that's true.
Yeah?
That's true. Yep. Yeah. He wrote a great book. Billy Casper, if you're a fan of golf, wrote a great sports book, The Big Three and Me. He was quite a golfer in his time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he had to deal with Nicholas Blair and Palmer.
That was an unbelievable trio. Yeah. Yeah, Palmer and Gary Player, man. He still looks great, huh? Isn't he like the Jack LaLanne of the modern day times?
86, I think, 86 or 88. Does look good.
He came in the studio one time when Lubie and I were doing a radio show. Remember that, Lubie? And he was telling us he did like 1,000 push-ups and sit-ups before 5 o'clock in the morning.
Player, we had Gary Player on.
So he said, really? And then he got down and started doing he was on 400 before we even got to the interview. It was incredible, man. The guy
I came back from Ireland at the Fort Lauderdale airport, got my clubs ready. I was getting picked up by a friend of mine, and I saw Gary play. "Hey, Mr. Player, how are you?" He says, "Where are you coming from, lad?" I said, "I was in Ireland." "Did you play Ballybunion? Do you need help with your clubs?" He was unbelievable. What an ambassador.
He was ready to caddy
truly
for
great
it.
guy.
He was great. All right, here we go. A
That's
3-point question, Chronic.
All right, NFL. Back in history now, Lenny. In 1962, the NFL came out with a program called the 1-year option, where you play for 1 year, and then you can become not a free agent, but you can make your choice to go somewhere else. This allowed that player to become the first to change as sort of a free agent. Who was that first player in 62 to take advantage of this rule and jump from his team to another one?
Wow.
Was it Jim Ringo, R.C. Owens, Yale Larry, or Ollie Matson?
That's an interesting choice.
Go for R.C. Owens.
He got it?
Only Lenny would get that. Lenny. He was a wide receiver, and the 49ers used to use him to try and block field goals at the stand, right at the crossbar, because he could jump like that. Good one, Lenny.
What was Yale Larry? Punter for the Lions?
Yeah, he was a punter. Yeah. He
All right, very good. 4 going for 9.
All right, Lenny.
And
see if I can find you an appropriate question.
Yeah.
All right, NHL.
Make it hard.
The Bruins goalie, Linus Ullmark, unbelievable with a record of 45-1. Who was the last Bruins goalie to win 40 games in a season before Linus Ullmark did it?
Peters.
He's giving names.
Pete Peters.
Pete Peters.
I heard you, but you didn't let me finish. What date was his birthday. No, I'm only kidding.
What was his ex-wife's
It was
first name?
indeed. It was Pete Peters. Well done. Who started with the Flyers, I believe.
Who the hell would have gotten that? Lenny knew that. I mean, they didn't
Lenny
even listen
did.
to the choices. What were the other choices?
He must have heard it on the Ben Maller show.
No one else wants to play. No one. None of you. No one of Scott. You don't want to play, Anthony.
Unbelievable.
I don't want Chronic's finals again.
All right, so we have the Chronic is going to go against Ron for the championship here.
Yes,
Gurggles, another word about Perdomo cigars before we get into that.
Yeah. 305-627-6700, Monday through Friday, 5150 Northwest 167th Street. Go there today, and you'll see Nick Perdomo at his desk reading Defoe's New York Post, which went to his place by mistake.
I'm hoping it hits the door soon. Yeah.
But anyway, go to see them today, 9 to 6 p.m. Say hello to Nick Jr. if he's back in the office. His lovely wife, Lauren, had a baby granddaughter named Lucia, and I've got the Perdomo cigar in the little box with Lucia's name on that I will enjoy. And any reason to smoke a great cigar, Perdomo's the one to have. So make Perdomo the cigar of your choice and put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
That was a good call by you, Gurggles, coming up with John Rahm. And then he double bogeyed. I almost texted you like a fool. I almost sent you a text after he double bogeyed one saying, nice pick, Gurggles.
Yeah.
And he came back and then shot 7 under overall, 9 under from the first hole on. That first round.
I wonder what you could have got. I wonder what you could have got after that double bogey. Would he have gone up to 20-1? I don't know.
That's one of the interesting things now about both watching tennis and the Masters. Two sports that you would have said would have been far distanced from any kind of degenerate gambling activity. I mean, people like to gamble on the game of golf when they're out there playing, right? The classic $5 Nassau or whatever, which I never quite understood. But, and there's a lot of gambling out there. And do you find that it creates a certain amount of acrimony and bitterness among a group, the gambling activity that goes on? Have you seen guys engaged in fistfights, after they get off the 18th hole?
No, because no matter how far you're down in golf, you have that famous word press, where you can start a new bet on that next hole. So, yeah, and usually it depends on the stakes. It's usually, $5
sure.
Front, back, and overall, something like that. But it's always fun to play. Although what causes problems when we run our tournament for our members on the weekend with one called Man in the Box, where if the three of us were in a group, on every third hole, we'd use 2 out of 3, but you'd have to use that guy's. So you get to the 13th hole of par 3 over the water here, and one guy makes a 9 in your group, and then there's acrimony. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know who's great? I used to golf with him occasionally, and he always had action going on. Anything that he was doing was the late, great track announcer from Calder Racecourse in South Florida, Phil Salzman.
Oh,
yeah. Quite a character to play golf with.
Yeah, he was.
But, I mean, the other thing that would cause, some kind of strife at the end of the match was, of course, if you're playing with a bunch of degenerate track guys, and, they would play for larger stakes because they were used to gambling. So, where you might be, inclined to lose $10 on a match with certain people, all of a sudden it was like $1,500 with these guys. And, but then they didn't have the money. So if you won eventually, and when you lost, you paid. And then when they lost, it was like, sweetheart, I tell you what, I'll buy you lunch at the track today in the press box.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, sweetheart, I want those 10 VCRs that you have that are hot in your trunk there, and that'll be a fair exchange. All right, here we go. Are we ready for the championship? I believe we are. Yeah. Lenny and Ron, Dave is going to fire off a question. Guys, call out your name. You know the rules, but we're obligated to go ahead and relay them anyway so the general public doesn't sue us. Dave's going to fire off a question. That's not even true, but, people need to know the rules of the game.
That's fine.
Dave's going to fire up a question. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. Nobody answers right away. We offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first choice, and we go back and forth until we have a winner. And, by the way, if you're on social media, Facebook in particular, don't punch up that article about Steve Harvey checking out. I think he's very much alive.
He is alive. What are you talking about?
And the minute you punch on that thing, like, you see it like 7-8 times, it pops up. The minute you punch on that thing, you're in the grip of some kind of, hijacking pirate terrorist who says, you better pay us $500 right now, or you'll never get your computer stuff back again. It'll never work again. And we'll, go ahead and display that all you watch is porn the minute your wife leaves the house. Right? It's ugliness. All right, you ready, Gurgs?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right, your bonus question, guys.
Harvey's
baseball,
alive.
Good luck. Good luck, guys. The Bravado player Reggie Jackson, when he was going to be traded to the Yankees, he will be more famous than Babe Ruth, and there will be a candy bar named after him, even though Baby Ruth was named after Grover Cleveland's granddaughter, or daughter. So in 1978, the opening day for the Yankees, they handed out Reggie bars named for their newest slugger, Reggie Jackson. Believe it or not, Jackson delivered in his first at bat for the Yankees with a home run. Who did he hit that home run off of? Or he hit that home run off of whom?
Mindbuster. All right, here's multiple choice.
Nobody?
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's ridiculous.
Jim Cott, Sam McDowell, Jim Perry, or Wilbur Wood?
Wow. Good choices.
Lenny.
Lenny gets in.
Lenny?
Going on, Lenny.
Jim Cott.
Jim Cott. Incorrect.
Ooh, 3 more.
3 left for Ron.
Ron, was that Sam McDowell, Jim Perry, or Wilbur Wood?
Let's go Sam McDowell.
Sudden Sam, left-hander versus lefty.
Sam
Sam McDowell is one of my favorite pitchers all time. Very brief at the top.
Oh, man.
Wow, man, was he
had fireball. He threw the ball
great,
fast.
Man. Yeah, he just
Lenny, was it Jim Perry or Wilbur Wood?
All right.
Wilbur Wood.
The knuckleballer is correct.
The White Sox, Wilbur Wood.
Yeah.
That's why Lenny goes first, because if he misses it, he hopes the other guy does. I know that strategy, Lenny.
Strategy, yeah. All right.
Well, and surprisingly, Lenny wins yet another. See, this is like Bitcoin to Lenny, is it not? But not Sam Bankman-Fried. He redeems his stuff.
Combatants. We need more combatants. So hopefully next week, Brian said he's going to jump in, and maybe we'll get some other guys.
How pissed is Sufreen that Lenny's got like $300 worth of gift cards?
I think he stopped.
Well, when I was there a couple of weeks ago, I talked to Alex, and he said, he really values Lenny's business and his acumen. So what he's going to do is make him a partner. But now Lenny has to pay the guys that cook the fries and the burgers out of their salary. Yeah. Well, that should be fair.
He could. I mean, how many gift certificates overall have you handed to Lenny the Chronic over the years, man?
No idea. Yeah, no
right.
They don't. He doesn't pay for food.
Well, I gotta go back to work, gentlemen.
You're a great American, Dave Gurggles Gergely, ladies and gentlemen. Great job. All right, and that was fun. Interesting questions all the way through. Gurggles on his game, very much so today. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, and it's always great being with you guys. So we will be with you till 9:00 here on a Defo show. And I don't know what is his status, Mike Mayo. Do we know? We have not heard from Mayo. Did the water rise above his computer?
I forget you don't look at your phone, which is good. I shouldn't look at my phone as much, but it keeps me updated. Mayo is alive. He's fine.
Okay.
The water hasn't drained at all. Like it stopped raining over the night. And
yeah, it's insane. Yes.
So I don't understand how bad he put another text explaining why their drainage sucks, but you're on the water. Cause Shirley's like, well, he's out east. I'm like, yeah, but you're right. Like you're more on the water than Mayo.
We're on the beach, man. I mean, if it was king tide and it rained like that, there's a pretty good chance that we're 6 feet under.
This happens to him all the time. Like and this time it actually was the kind of rain that you could see it happening, but by now it should have drained. It stopped raining.
That was crazy, man. What was all of that? I never really figured it out. I mean, it was very much the prelude to a hurricane, was it not?
It was a storm. It just was never named. It never grew. It just was a lot of rain.
Yeah. Normally I don't mind it. I wouldn't complain. Yesterday, and literally, I mean, the term applies. It was a washout.
Yes.
Because you couldn't do much of anything. I ventured out of the house 3 times altogether in my car. It wasn't too bad on the streets here. Reasonable. People still drive like complete assholes, though. I mean,
I'm not going to lie. You're not doing the shenanigans. We were making fun of you. And then when I made that drive home.
I didn't want to do that. I really didn't. Yeah.
No, it was bad. It was raining really hard. And the other thing, we haven't had rain in months. So a lot of these people who don't understand how to drive in rain had an excuse to drive like fucking assholes. So it was not, I've been driving in these conditions my entire life, 25 years.
Sure.
So even I was white knuckling it like the whole way home because it was like, okay, like these people are.
I'm a good adverse conditions player. I mean, whether it's playing sports or driving, I like adverse conditions. Wind, rain, whatever. It doesn't bother me. Sloppy track. But
it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, with my lack of desire to drive on 95 at all, and combine that with treacherous conditions, plus Pat Utter, he's great, man. He could just solo the show.
No, he's fun. It's a good time.
Fantastic, yeah.
Glad we were there, but
And
I that you weren't there. It was driving back
driving back would have been insane. Yeah, I thought about that, and that was a big consideration. Although I did have some stuff to do, so it turned out well for me that I was able to just depart the show and already be in the area where most of this business was being conducted, which was great. Yeah, that was good. But you guys had a good time down there. And I like that Utter, is not afraid at all. In fact, he relishes sticking an elbow right in Mayo's ribs while he's trying to wash down a hamburger with a Bloody Mary.
I just love he actually embraces Mayo more than we do. Like, I'm sort of disgusted. Like, I've never seen a human eat food the way he eats food, and then also be respected. It's a weird combination.
Well, yeah, I mean, as like a high end, when he starts writing all of that flowery stuff about restaurants and food, I mean, the guy's, essence was he was a writer. That's how he got this whole thing going. And so, you figure if you could write about it, you could talk about it, which obviously I think the second part is a lot easier. But, his technique and everything, I mean, he really has that language. It's a whole different vernacular than being a sports writer, which has a language of its own also. But or then an editorial guy. So this is a versatile cat, Mayo. Maybe that's why he's so eccentric. Because his level of intellect is one that you and I, common people with just normal, ability to think and deduce things. We don't understand that level of intellect, do we?
I definitely don't understand a lot of what Mayo is. I will openly admit that.
Many of those people are extremely eccentric at certain aspects of life.
For sure.
Which, we're finding, to be true about Michael. Are we not? And then, his tendency for degenerate gambling, which I have great respect for, right, is in full bloom ever since he got that check from the insurance company.
Well, he's gonna.
I think his account at the Hard Rock is under Citizens, I believe.
It feels like he's gonna need to be calling them back up again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he said it's a different company.
For anyone out in that area, I feel bad. I'm really sorry. Like this was just a storm to me. It's crazy to think of how it actually hit a lot of people in that pocket of southern Broward, northern Dade-ish, that area.
Are they on the turf at Gulfstream today? That's all that matters.
Anthony said,
never mind all this bullshit, the airport being closed. Are they on the turf at the stream?
Anthony said the stream's running.
Yeah. All right, good. That's all we care about, Lubie. Never mind this, Chicago challenge that's coming up on Friday night. Tomorrow night, how deflating would it be for the Heat to miss the playoffs altogether after losing back-to-back playoff teams, becoming the first team to suffer that indignant situation and have that distinction where, they were the only team ever. I mean, dropping out of a 7 to lose 2 playoff games, right? No 10s had beaten 9s before, and no 8s had beaten 7s before this year. All upsets last night, too. I mean, the other game, both teams were 5.5-point dogs that were on the road, and they both won. Oklahoma City, they were kind of handy winners there over New Orleans, were they not? I think they ran away in that game, and, tough ball game. You saw a level of intensity, Lubie. I'm going to give you a totally, a vague, kind of opinion about this game. But the level of intensity with Chicago and Toronto far eclipsed anything we saw in the effort that was exhibited by the Miami Heat in their losing effort against the Hawks. Is that a fair statement? Even if you didn't see the game, you would have to assume that they were playing, they were playing hard last night. And Chicago, they may have the goods to beat the Miami Heat. What do you think? Or does that just go back with your magic wand theory and all of a sudden the Heat get it together and they win by 12?
I know. They have size, which the Heat obviously struggle with. They rebound, which the Heat obviously struggle with. And they have wing guys that can score.
What about Jimmy Butler versus Chicago? Does he have, a little statement to make there, Lubie? What do you think?
I don't question Jimmy Butler. my question isn't him.
They were saying this about DeRozan last night, that, this was a big thing for him because, Toronto traded him. And they did trade him for Kawhi Leonard to San Antonio. And it turned out to be as good a move as you could have made, even though Leonard was only there one season. as they won the championship. Would you sell your soul to win the title, Lubie, or would you rather be a consistently good team that never wins one? Age-old question.
We've had it both down here, so it depends. As the Heat, I like that they win every year, and I use that, and they also win big too. So we're lucky in that regard. The Dolphins, they don't, so I wouldn't mind. I don't mind.
They go all in to win a championship. Which did they not do some of that last year?
No, they're doing that now. Last year they put their toe in the water. This year they're like, all right, fuck it.
They're all in.
Fuck it. They're just trading for every big contract they can, and they're gonna go for it. And if they win a title, it'll be worth it. And if they don't, it won't. I guess. With that organization, I don't mind that they're going all in because they're trying to win every year. Thing hasn't worked for them.
This town used to be obsessed with the draft, and I would imagine it would have been at its most feverish pitch had the Dolphins retained all of these draft picks that they had before they went into the Tyreek Hill deal and other trades that involved giving away first-round picks. And they would have had like what wasn't that the thing that over the last couple of years they would have had like 6 first-rounders or something? Had they sustained the position they took originally, which was a variation of or a byproduct of tanking.
Well, they made a trade that got rid of one. They lost one, and then they made a trade. They traded for Ramsey, which lost another. So they would have had, I think, 3 this year.
Wow,
first round, but they fucking.
Would that not have created? I mean, this particular draft. I don't know if it's just that I'm more detached from it than I used to be. I mean, there would be an element of intrigue to any draft, even if you despise the draft as a topic to talk about on sports talk shows. It still has its elements of interest, does it not? Where because it's like any sports proposition where like trying to fill out a bracket before the NCAA tournament. Isn't that part of what makes it great? That everybody did it, everybody gets hammered, they all cry and fetch about it, but nonetheless. And there's always the one guy that you can't believe, like you think you are the most, consistent liar that I've ever known. A chronic, pathological liar. I mean, you are George Santos to an exponent of 12. If you're telling me you had those 4 teams in the Final Four, and there's always some guy that says, "Yeah, I had them all."
No one had them all. There were a couple people that had like 2 or 3 of them, which still was ludicrous. But I don't know if anyone had all 4. How would you even get there?
But it's interesting because it's a puzzle involving different pieces that you may not be overwhelmingly familiar with. Some people are, some people aren't, and it's interesting that the people that have no familiarity with what's going on, no foundation or basis to create an opinion about, and they fare sometimes as well or better than the people that actually know what the hell they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And the draft is that kind of puzzle, too, where if you're trying to predict what's going to happen, you're okay. Well, you also have to anticipate things that are impossible.
Well, and
like
that's
Fairleigh Dickinson winning or, a team making a trade.
And that's what the professor, like you and I will get on Kuiper sometimes because you look at these mock drafts and they're.
I like Kuiper, though.
But that's the thing is, just because if you look going back, a lot of the time Kuiper was right.
Yeah.
The teams are just fucking stupid. Like if a team wants to draft a guy, if the Dolphins want to take Austin Jackson, a 3rd round guy in the middle of the 1st, it's not Mel Kiper's fault. Like
no.
If the Dolphins want to take Noah Igbinoghene, who's like a 3rd round grade.
Wow, is that guy like he showed up a couple of times last year?
He
and
make some plays, but he's horrendous. He's not.
But overall, I mean, for a 1st round pick, I mean, it reminds me name wise and productivity wise, like Frank Ntilikina was with the Knicks.
Yeah, with the Knicks, yeah.
The Frenchman that Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson made some bozoic moves, though. Although, would you say? I mean, Porzingis kind of prospered, although in anonymity last year because he was playing with the with Washington
Wizards. Yeah,
Wizards. Yeah. I don't know why I wanted to say, wait a minute, Wizards, don't they play in Orlando? No, they're the Magic, man.
Magic, it's close. Magic do.
How come anything associated with Magic and or those sorts of things like Wizards, magicians, how come those teams are always awful? Is there something about that?
Not always.
Why would they be the Washington Wizards anyway? That's kind of a weird association.
I never got that. The Bullets thing actually made a lot of sense.
you hardly associate, things that go on in Washington with wizardry.
Oh, no.
more matters of the occult, I would think would be appropriate. So I guess maybe there is a connection there with the politicians and all of the stuff that is the mainstream thing that comes out of Washington D.C. But bad teams,
Yes.
really bad teams. But putting together, the draft, it's an interesting puzzle, right? I don't know that the NBA, gives you that. I mean, you like to, get into
I
NBA
watched
free
it.
agency. These are the kind of topics, existential, fact-based topics that became very, very popular and in vogue, and seemed to spark. I don't know. Did he still spark sports talk today, or is sports talk essentially, as a radio entity? Obviously, it's very much in decline. Would you say, except in cities where they care about sports? Here's your argument with Mr. Schwartz again,
Ryan, yeah.
right? Like in New York. I mean, super high ratings for WFAN.
Look, if the
They're
Dolphins
killing
had
it.
even one pick in the first round, we'd care more. I mean, when your team doesn't have a pick, I'll watch the draft
What
because
kind of speculation would there be, though? I mean, do they need a quarterback?
no, it wouldn't be that. They need offensive linemen, they need a running back, they need a defensive back, and they need a linebacker.
Yeah.
And those are 4 guys you could definitely get in the first round. So it would be way more important. Now, I'm so curious because it seems like the teams have forgotten reaching on a quarterback is a bad move, and they're just fighting to try and get the worst quarterback possible. So the fact that 5 quarterbacks could possibly go in this draft where there's really only 2 in the first round, I'm actually very intrigued by. I want to see who reaches on Levis, Richardson, and Hooker.
Well, this Anthony Richardson is an interesting cat because I saw a little piece on Sports Center, I guess, about him. And he has an interest in helping people, believe it or not. And he seems like a very well-grounded individual.
Yeah, he's a
Now,
bright
he's
kid.
obviously a spectacular athlete. I mean, he's an athletic specimen that spells NFL success. And yet, the one issue with him is the accuracy of his passes, which you would have to think is crucial in the National Football League. Who have been the most successful guys? They were guys like, that they wouldn't necessarily consider that had the cannon arms so much, but guys like Drew Brees, right? That were accurate. Now it helps if you also have a cannon and you have accuracy. I mean, if you're throwing nothing but howitzers out there, and and on top of that, you're accurate. It helps a lot. Look at what happened with Josh Allen. He kind of became a little suspect as his accuracy problems resurfaced late in the season.
It happens
and
every
in the
year.
postseason. Yeah.
He's their test case, and they're forgetting that as good as he is, every season he ends up being turnover guy because he's so big and strong. He thinks he can make the plays when they're not. It's still who he is. And he's the goal. Whatever. We've seen time and time again, when you reach on the strong-armed guy, good luck to you.
Yeah. No, and you have to have a good head on your shoulders. But it appeared that Anthony Richardson had an excellent, mindset. I had a lot of respect for the kid after I saw this piece. Not typical, of your old school Urban Meyer Gator athlete, where you're suspecting, or you find out after the fact that the guy was like operating a meth lab or something. This kid seemed really, really good, like centered, focused, and with his heart and soul in the right direction. So can that type of guy be a guy that gets it after a while on the pro level, where maybe he hadn't had time to mature as a collegiate athlete, so it looked like he had this big immense flaw that would scare you away? That Josh McDaniels is going to trade into the 3rd spot and grab this guy. No, there's my draft prediction.
I cannot wait. It's great. And I think if you're the Raiders, you should realize, doesn't that tell us something about McDaniels?
But maybe he's right this time. I mean, the guy was nothing but well respected. As I can't imagine that you're a stiff if you're an assistant for Belichick. Like Belichick isn't going to sit there. His ego wouldn't overcome his desire to have efficiency. I would imagine he had no patience whatsoever for a guy that didn't know what he was doing as an assistant coach. Although he did have Matt Patricia as an offensive coordinator, which it appeared that either he didn't know what he was doing or didn't have the personnel to make something happen.
It feels like as years go by, and that's why Belichick should get out of the coaching game, because all he's doing is damage to his legacy.
You think Belichick is got Chuck Noll syndrome?
It's not that. It feels like his assistants never mattered.
Yeah.
Like, you look at
really?
The fact that they all go and fail, all of them.
Interesting.
Florida was
Yeah.
the only one that had some success, and he still was a total disaster with offense. So I think eventually, that's what's funny about Flores. As much as he was pissed, I think the Dolphins did him a favor because I think eventually, if you can't figure out offense, I don't give a shit how good your defense is. Eventually, you're going to lose.
But wasn't Mangini out of that school of
They
Belichick?
all failed. Look, coaching trees matter, right? All the great coaches had really good coaching trees, all of them, except one guy. If you're a great look, even Saban's coaching trees are pretty fucking impressive. Like Kirby Smart.
But Saban is hiring the elite of the elite. You have to figure.
But that was the
although he discovered a lot of guys, I would have to say, that have gone on to great success. You're right on that. I'll give you that.
What I'm saying, like,
is it just that I despise Saban and I immediately tried to find some kind of way to detract from your point?
But his tree is pretty solid. I'm not saying it's the greatest tree ever. I'm not saying it's what the hell, the West Coast guy, the coach for the Bill Walsh. Like Walsh's tree was ridiculous. I'm not saying it's Walsh's tree, but his tree's really good if you look at it. Belichick's tree sucks. Like, doesn't that go to tell you that maybe it's never been his assistants? Like, he literally didn't. He took a defensive coordinator, made him an offensive coordinator who just pissed off the rookie quarterback who was average, and now they want to get rid of him. The fact that every assistant's failed elsewhere, failed miserably. Like,
I like that Matt Patricia, though, has the pencil in his ear. And we know, he's tremendous, a mathematical genius, like like an aeronautical engineer or something. But doesn't he look like he's the deli manager in an old school grocery store with the pencil in his ear? See, you weren't around in this era where they actually used to write down the prices on a brown paper bag and then add them up with long addition. Not even, any kind of adding machine. Long addition, my friend. This is predating when cash registers can actually do the math for you. How long ago was that, Defo? But Patricia looks like that guy. That was like cutting up meat, and then giving you your prices on a brown paper bag, and that's why they had the pencil in the ear. It was very much purposeful. What does he do with that pencil? Is it just like certain guys have a toothpick, like Dusty Baker or Renee Latzman, always a toothpick?
I think he's doodling because he clearly
because he called like some sucky plays last year. That's for sure. There's a new term for you, some sucky plays. All right, I might have to give you that one on Belichick. That was very well illustrated by you, Mike Lubie.
Find one guy that succeeded anywhere. Like Weiss looked like he was decent at Notre Dame for like a week and a half, and then that failed, and then he was horrendous at Kansas. Romeo Crennel had moments with the Browns and the Texans, but he was
Crennel. I mean, that was tragic watching him on the sidelines.
Mangini, same thing with the Browns. And it's a long list because people kept trying. Flores is probably his most successful guy, and honestly, their offenses were freaking. He had like 5 different offensive coordinators in 3 years.
I never, he had success, but I never understood what he was doing. I really didn't.
No one did.
I mean, you can usually see a coach's style and his imprint on a team. I couldn't figure out what his style was. His imprint was clearly that he had motivated these people somehow, these scrubs, these scabs, these parcel workers, to actually go out and win games in the National Football League, where people will tell you, and I believe it to be true, that, after you see like a really bad game in the National Football League and, people go, well, you know what, a win is a win. And, it's hard to win games in this league. I believe it is hard to win games in the National Football League.
For sure.
It's just not an easy thing. And if your coach can help you do that, then, sometimes it's readily apparent that that's the case. And if he can help you, then in any way, whether it's by approach, strategically, clever play calling, time management, understanding of things that the other coach isn't exhibiting on the other sidelines. But, Flores somehow, I mean, had a bunch of team, a team that was completely, you couldn't be any more undermanned than the Dolphins were. They were barely an XFL team. Mm-hmm. They were an XFL team. They were like the Brahmas out there.
First year was bad.
And he's winning 5 games with these guys against teams that had something at stake, which, it was really surprising. And I couldn't figure out what the hell the guy was doing. All right, so we have the draft coming up, and we haven't really gotten into it, although you believe, and that's always my big question and approach to the draft is, when will the first major blunder be made? Who's going to make it? Will it be a 1? Will it be a 2? Will it be a 3?
I think it's going to be 3. I think you're going to see Stroud and Young go 1 and 2. As much as message boards and these stupid-ass mocks want it to be something crazy, it won't. Those are the 2 best quarterbacks. I think the 2 top teams are going to draft them. The Cardinals are getting calls for the 3rd pick, and I think that's where either a Titans or a Raiders will trade up and go Richardson or Levis, and both suck.
You have to love Kuiper, though. I mean, because he started all this. Nobody gave a shit about the draft or speculation about it. It literally was reported in the agate type underneath the British soccer scores on page 16 of the sports section, when there was a sports section in the local newspapers. And you would go, hey, look at that. Yeah, you see the Dolphins got this guy Duper. Who the hell is he? That was it. I mean, by then it started to, kind of spiral into having a little bit of life. That was what? Was it 1983 when it was first televised, the Marino draft?
I'd say late 80s is when it became. When I was young, it was starting to kick up with interest.
And you thought, who is this crazy man? This guy that's up there screaming like a maniac about, you got to see this linebacker out of, Tuscaloosa. And it was Kuiper, and he had the hair, and it looked like he literally, had gargled with Vaseline or something to get that hair stand up like that. Incredible. And he looked a little weird, and he was psychotic about it. And it kind of like Dick Vitale, was very illustrative of, different things about college basketball. You may say he became kind of a parody of himself, but I don't care. I don't mind, because he brought attention to it. Which look what's happening now. Do you think there was that much interest in college basketball that many years ago, before Vitale was doing all of these obscure games on ESPN? I'm not sure that there was.
No, there wasn't. No, Vitale. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. He's giving a lot of credit for making college basketball.
He illuminated college basketball and made you think that even the most obscure of games was interesting. And Kuiper did that. I mean,
draft, yes.
There was another cat named Joel Bushbaum, used to put out the pre-draft guide. And I believe he died at a very young age. Joel Bushbaum. Man, did we, I mean, you talk about plagiarism. If I was ever going to be convicted of something, anybody that was in any sports department that was doing any kind of draft, pre-draft show or a draft day program, just absolutely stole everything from Joel Bushbaum. A 6'4" behemoth with a big ass. I mean, and he used to describe body parts in his assessment of players.
They're saying he passed in 2002.
I believe he was like in his 40s. Joel Bushbaum. He was, probably a pre-Mel Kiper in creating the draft as what was a cottage industry, and now just became big out, flat out business. Period. Right? Where are they holding it? Vegas.
Yeah, no, it's become a big deal.
It's in Kansas City this year. Kansas City, I think.
Yes, this year's Kansas City.
Who the hell would want to go there? I mean, I know they won the Super Bowl and Mahomes plays there, but what would be the appeal of going to Kansas City, Lubie, to cover the draft? Don't say barbecue. I don't even believe that.
There, I think
Fairmount Park. I mean, it's now called something else. Fairmount Park.
I don't know.
It's FanDuel. It's a racetrack. FanDuel has its own racetrack. Can you believe it?
Okay, really?
That must be on the level.
What a joke.
You imagine? No, they run some really, I mean, it's not like you're getting, the championship meet at Gulfstream when you're going to Fairmount Park, now known as FanDuel Park, I believe it is. Incredible. All right, we've given you our draft analysis, which is what? C.J. Stroud goes number 1, and Young 2, and Anthony Richardson 3 to the Raiders, and Josh McDaniels turns out to be a madman and not some genius as we thought he was when they were winning all those Super Bowls, and he was the OC with the New England Patriots. It's nice not to have the Patriots, be prominent for a while, isn't it?
You're very happy.
As a South Floridian, like enough already.
Well, I'm happy. I literally pronounced Mac Jones as a piece of garbage as a career backup.
Yes.
And all these people, they started trying to compare him to
I might have been wrong about that, Lubie. I thought he was a second coming.
They're now trying to trade him to Houston. They didn't play
and
him.
Having that much luck, right? You don't hear a lot of teams calling.
They themselves were playing that third string guy that no one had ever heard of. Even when he was healthy, they weren't playing Mac Jones.
Belichick, is it signs of senility with Belichick? What do you think? When is Saban going to exhibit these very same characteristics?
Yeah, that's annoying.
Where you become, inclined towards, is that a characteristic of getting old? Maybe it is, because I'm experiencing some of it. An even greater instinct towards self-sabotage.
Well, you're just not willing to accept reality. Like the great ones are, like the Bill Walshes of the world. You're like, all right, my time has come. I'll go to Stanford. I'm going to go away. And some of them, like Shula and Chuck Noll, hold on a little too long. And Belichick is holding on for dear life. Like, he won't let go at all. which is fucking stupid.
No, he wants to pass Shula. I think the minute he passes Shula, he passes out.
I don't
And they carry him off the field on a stretcher, and he's screaming, "I beat him, Don!
I don't know.
I'll be joining you up there soon in football heaven, and we'll compete again. I'll bury you." Oh, is that all he's living for now, Belichick?
It is, and I don't think he's going to get there.
I think Belichick's a lot cooler than we think he is.
I mean, maybe as a human, but my problem is this holding on to coaching. He's just ruining his legacy. I mean, that's what he's doing.
Maybe. All right. I know the professor, would probably like to weigh in on this, but that'll be tomorrow. Because he loves it when we start talking Belichick here on the show. All right. There's our draft analysis for today. And it's still, a couple of weeks away? I just remember obsession with this when I was broadcasting on WIOD, especially. Wow. I mean, people would start talking about the draft the minute the previous one was finished. And, and then, the season wouldn't be one game old, and you would get that first call. Okay, let's go to Manny and Miramar. Manny, what do you have for us? Who do you think the Dolphins need to draft next year? They'll have the, maybe the 15th pick. What should they, what area should they go into if they're going to, be a better team than they were this past year? And it's like they played one game there, Manny. I mean, essentially, the answer would be, how the fuck do I know? But I'll make something up and talk for 20 minutes anyway. All right, we're coming back with more. We've been trying to get to this break for about 20 minutes here. So let's get a fine word in for our many great backers here on the program. It's always a pleasure. And these people are great, all of them. So we want you to patronize them handsomely. And we'll be back after that in a moment. Now that.
Time.
What do you think? Is Mayo going to be able to turn on his internet today for the lunchbox?
I don't know. I guess.
I hope he had plenty of food and storage there. Won't be able to leave the house once he gets there. It's 8:52. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home. Either way, if they can get the right guy to fall, like, could be a coup. So there's a few guys around that area that actually could be really good if they get the right guy, honestly.
It's now time for the Defo Show.
There it is, man. Draft lingo, draft vernacular.
That's about as good as it gets when it comes to drafts.
That was a cute analysis. That was Kuiper-esque right there. If they can get the right guy, then it could be a coup if they can get the right guy to fall.
Definitely.
Which is always my approach. I mean, if you get the right, piece of good luck to fall into your lap, then, by all means, let's take advantage of it. For your sports fans out there, I've had this reflecting in that Klitschko Danny Williams poster, which the names, I guess, are backwards. If you're not dyslexic, we haven't figured out what the deal is with that.
I don't see backwards anymore. I noticed that. Like,
oh yeah,
like it says. I see Danny Williams.
Oh, you can read it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, something happened where it's not backwards anymore.
I futzed with some buttons, which is, I think would put the camera on tilt also. But
you're not on tilt.
I'm thinking there was probably like a reverse angle button, but they're so small on this camera that you can barely decipher what's what. So I know how to turn it on and off. I don't know how to do much else with it, although it doesn't seem like a very complex piece of apparatus. You might be able to figure this thing out, but I guess I reversed the angle or something. Or,
it's Danny Williams. I see the word name Danny Williams and Vitaly, and then I can't see the
Vitaly Klitschko. Yeah,
I know what it is, but I'm saying I can't see the Klitschko part because your head's there.
But I've had this Monte Carlo thing. I guess they're about 6 hours ahead of us. in terms of, so you're getting live action on Tennis Channel. And I mean, this is, I texted Harvey Fialkoff. I said, this is some really good stuff. This is a red clay bloodbath taking place. It's just a men's tournament. They just had a women's tournament in Charleston, South Carolina. But that women's tournament didn't feature all of the top players like this one does with the men, including the Joker, who is out there. Medvedev is playing great tennis this year, although he's not necessarily inclined to win on the red clay, win the tournaments. He'll win some matches. I don't think he's gone any further than the quarterfinals of the French Open. And these were people that were on display here, many of them at the Miami Open. So I got a chance to get a glimpse of them that one day that I was out there. And that's why it's great to have events like that in your hometown, Lubie, is it not? Because, when you see these guys live and then do they not become more relatable on TV as they go through the season? Would you say that's a fair statement as a sports fan?
You're talking about tennis?
Yeah. I mean, having been close up and even watching like Alcaraz take a couple of practice swings, then when you see him on TV, for some reason, you feel like, you have a little more insight into what's happening with this guy.
Well, to me, it makes him more impressive.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Because we do that all the time. Again, a lot of people are talking about that with the NBA when Haslam hadn't done anything for a decade, put up 24 points in a regular season game. Like, we underestimate just how good these people are because we see them against each other. So we're like, oh, this guy's a scrub. Yeah, he's a scrub against fucking Federer.
Yeah.
He's not a scrub in reality.
No, they're all brilliant, man. I mean, in terms of being able to hit the ball. I mean, it's similar to golf in that you're wondering what really separates all these guys. You watch them on the driving range before the tournament, or they're warming up, and every shot is just picture perfection. And you're thinking, how did this guy ever miss when he's on the course? What could possibly change? They're able to do whatever they want with the ball too. I mean, a guy says, "Okay, let's hit a couple of slices." A little fade they call it. They don't like to call it a slice.
No, that's bad.
A slice though implies. I mean, can you think? I mean, I used to hit balls that would defy all aerodynamic law. Did you ever, do that and wonder how is it possible to have that much cut on the ball? I'm not talking about like something that just snaps off the club and directly into the tree on the right. Okay. I'm talking about one that bananas its way out there, and you're thinking, wow, if my screwball, if the old forkball had gone like that, if it could really turn it over like that, I would have been Fernando fucking Valenzuela. How can you get that kind of, just a completely undesirable spin on a golf ball? And then the duck hook, the snap hook is one of my favorite shots, to hit in golf. Right? Now, where it's going out there, and for a brief moment, it looks like you actually did something right. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, like as if driven by magnetic force field directly to the left there. And all of a sudden, you hear it bouncing around like it was in a pinball machine in the woods where, it's not only unrecoverable, but unplayable as well. And, you're immediately dropping 3 in the fairway. Crazy game, huh? But, when you see these guys on, they never miss when they're on the driving range, the pros. But this field is incredible that they have at this Monte Carlo tournament. I saw my man Sinner, Yannick Sinner, who's actually Italian, skinny kid, man. He's going to be dynamite. He and Alcaraz are going to be the two dominant forces in tennis. And the Joker is still very formidable, and he's involved in this thing. Tsitsipas, we're waiting for him to break through and win a tournament. And he always seems to come close. Very competitive guy, fiery competitor. We just saw this scrub beat Casper Ruud, who had a great year last year and is off to a slow start this year. I haven't seen him, fare as well as he did a year ago when he was came out of nowhere, and was winning a lot of events or in the finals of many events. I haven't seen Kyrgios for a while. Lubie, is he injured? Do we know Kyrgios, who really became a fan darling, even though, he was sort of McEnroe-esque in being one of the bad boys, where, you thought the only thing that can beat this guy is himself. That is, stone cold cliche, but it seemed to be true in his case, did it not? He would be fine, and then all of a sudden he would have a meltdown. Some guy would scream out from the crowd, like way in the upper deck, "You're an asshole, Kyrgios!" And he would snap. And then he was possessed with, like answering this guy back and showing him up the rest of the match to the point where he would lose. But he was out there, and had seemingly a lot of animosity towards his opponent. He wasn't afraid to just bean a guy, right? Like the guy would be at the net, and Kyrgios would have him at his mercy, and he would fire on right at his balls. And that would be his strategy. So, but people really embrace this guy. I haven't seen him. I would imagine he's got some kind of injury. But this Monte Carlo tournament has me like absolutely turned on to make Monte Carlo a destination I want to visit sometime before I check out. Which, the numbers blinking on the board, Libby. Do you not? I mean, a lot of guys are checking out in their early 70s, Libby. That sports guy from WFAN just the other day. Guess he did a bunch of stuff on the weekends and was a very prominent figure there from the origins of WFAN, which goes back how far now, Libby? WFAN in New York.
I don't know. Is it 60
the whole
years?
Sports talk craze?
Is it 70 years? 60?
I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't be. Well, when did this really take hold? The all sports formats and ESPN. I would say that goes back to like the early 80s, maybe. And sports talk really kind of became more prominent, I think, in late 80s, early 90s than it did before that.
Yeah, no, sports talks. I would say my youth to right when I got into it was at its peak because we ended up having like 4 sports talk stations.
The 90s and through about 2010, I think were the glory years for that.
Yes. Yes.
Especially in this town where people don't have a lasting care for their team. Yeah. As evidence, I mean that was crazy. Those people in Toronto, I mean, were typical. You see this in other cities where they're crammed. Would you be inclined to go and stand outside, sometimes in the cold, outside an arena, in like a packed sardine-like situation, like you have at those ultra concerts, with another 10, 20,000 people jumping up and down watching a game on a big screen outside? Would you ever be inclined to do that with the Miami Heat? Could we ever see that happen? You don't see that happen at whatever they call the arena now, outside the arena for the Heat.
Pronounce that name. So I'm going to try Curacao.
What is it? It's named after a liquor? Curacao? What is it? I don't even know. I have no idea.
And there's an update with Mayo. You were actually right. I was underestimating everything. I thought he was joking when he was saying he wasn't in his house or couldn't get to his house.
Yeah.
He's been a nomad this last night.
He's had to stay in a hotel?
Not a hotel, but he's been, I won't totally give away the ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
Yes. But
he did it?
He is not at his house yet. It's 9 and the streets are still so flooded. He's scared to try and drive his car through it.
I wouldn't do it. No, don't.
So today's Mike Mayo's lunchbox, maybe up in the air. I will just
rain. That's an interesting one.
It's an interesting one since it's done inside a home, not
It's
outside.
one thing you set up outside at the pizza spot and you take the umbrella down because there's bright sunshine and a flash rainstorm comes, and the next thing you know, you're absolutely soaked. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll have that at 12 o'clock because we have to get out of here. We've had a lot of fun being with you. Thanks to Dave Gurggles Gergely. Congratulations to the Chronic who won the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge today. But I was going to say, through all of that, meandering, that, this Monte Carlo tennis tournament is worth watching. Even if you're not a tennis fan, if you just like to see, an individual sport where they really battle it out on a red clay. The red clay is like a quicksand type of equalizer for certain players. Where especially, and it seems like Latin players, especially Spain, as we know, Nadal, what does he have? Like 13 French Open titles? Because this red clay is a completely different surface. And it slows the ball down to the point where, and there's, a different technique to it. So the big time power players on the hard courts aren't necessarily, I don't know, I want to say Djokovic has won at least one French Open. That's an interesting question because this surface is a great equalizer, and all the top guys are in this thing. And I think it's going to be a dynamite tournament right to the end. So far, the action has been pretty incredible, and the scene would make you want to, definitely say, hey, before
actually good for him. He's won 2 French Opens.
2 French Opens. Okay,
I think
that shows you how good he is.
I think Federer's the one that had won. I think 1.
Federer, I think, did it once. Yeah, possibly.
Sampras had never won it. That was
he has as many as Michael Chang. Think about that.
That was the Craw and Sampras is the
Sampras never won the French. I want to say true because it balances out. The advantage that the guy has that serves the ball 138 miles an hour.
Yes,
it's going to take that big hop. I don't know. I've never played on red clay, so I couldn't tell you. But I know the clay is obviously different than any hard court surface. So this is another extrapolation of weirdness beyond just the regular green clay that people are familiar with here in Florida. But anyway, check it out. It's on Tennis Channel live action. Got Tsitsi Pass out there right now. He's won the first set. They're on serve in a second set against this guy, Jerry.
We'll keep you posted. We want to do a lunchbox, but that show's a little hard without Mike Mayo because then it just becomes this show.
Yeah.
We've already done this. So we'll keep you posted. Check out the Facebooks. Check out the socials. We should have, Mike Mayo said we'll have a deadline time by 11. So by 11 this morning, if Mayo can get into his house. I feel bad laughing at it. I just my house is.
No, that's terrible. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I'm so confused.
What kind of crap is that?
I don't understand that. It's the next day at 9. It hasn't rained since last night.
Yeah.
And,
it looks sunny out there now.
Yeah, it's beautiful right now.
Yeah.
Like there's no water really outside of the grass here. So I don't understand how it's still like up to like the tires and cars by his house. Like I don't.
Nuts.
I can't fathom it.
All right. Well, we may see you at 12 o'clock. We may not. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with it's already a Degenerate Friday. This week is flown by, Lubie.
Well,
man, the time is going by way too fast, people.
It was going slow for me.
But thank you for sharing some of it with us here this morning. And we'll keep you posted on other developments here on South Florida Live, including the very popular Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, also known as, and this is his, moniker that he goes by, Mayo Eats.
Yes.
And to see that display yesterday, even Patrick Utter was aghast.
No, but Patrick Utter liked it.
Oh, he likes it. Yeah. He would like
it's a real man.
to stick his face in a plate. Yeah, of like shepherd's pie.
Public. He can be a real man in his bathroom, hiding in the corner. Like I don't want to see a real man while I'm trying to eat food.
Yeah. Yeah, he was great when he said that to you about like, why don't I get Lubie some arugula while I'm out here?
The juice is dripping. I'm like,
that was hardcore, man. All right, so we'll see you later on, hopefully, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time as we leave you now that.
The time
9:07.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.